I am Kiya, she whom they called the king's wife, his beloved, yet who walked always one step behind the greater blaze of Nefertiti. From this place beyond the veil, where the Aten's light falls without shadow, and every secret of Akhetaten lies open like papyrus unrolled beneath the disk, I speak at last with a heart unburdened. The rays that once warmed my skin now illuminate all that was hidden, and I see my life as it truly was. Not the story the court later carved in stone, but the quiet truth I carried until the end. My beginnings were modest, yet royal enough to serve a purpose. I was born in the northern Delta lands, daughter of a lesser branch of the royal house that still clung to the old ways of Amenhotep III. My parents were not of the inner circle, but their blood carried enough of the divine line to make me useful. When Akhenaten, then still Amenhotep IV, began to raise the Aten above all gods, my mother and father saw opportunity. Offer the girl, they told the emissaries who came seeking alliances. Let her become a secondary wife in the new court. It will bind our house to the throne and shield us from the wrath of the Amun priests. I was scarcely 15 when I was sent south with a small retinue, my dowry modest, my heart trembling. No grand procession greeted me. Only the white walls of the rising city of Akhetaten and the promise that my presence would please the king and soften old enmities. In Akhetaten, I built a life among the everyday people, not in the golden halls, but in the rhythm of the city itself. I walked the open markets where merchants from Kush and the northern lands bartered under the disk's gaze. I learned the names of the potters and weavers who lived in the mud brick quarters beyond the palace walls. My small sunshade chapel stood at the edge of the royal precinct, an open court of Talatat where I myself arranged lotus blossoms and barley bread each dawn, chanting the hymns Meryra taught us. The Aten's rays touched me there as they touched the lowliest scribe or water carrier, and in that equality, I found a quiet joy. I was never great royal wife. Nefertiti's power and beauty ensured that. Yet for a season, the king looked upon me with favor. He walked with me at dusk among the palms, away from the eyes of the court, and spoke softly of the disk's mercy. Gold collars were laid upon my shoulders in private. A daughter was born to me in those early years, small and brief as a lotus petal, but her name was soon erased along with mine. Then came the machinations of the vizier Ai, that spider of the palace who spun his webs in silence. The royal family was already fracturing. Sitamun, sister to both Akhenaten and Smenkhare, had lain with her younger brother, Smenkhare in secret. A union born of the old royal custom, yet forbidden even by the Aten's new light. Their child was Tutankhamun, an attempt by Sitamun to bring her own name back into favor, seeking Akhenaten's approval, but the shame of it could not be spoken aloud. So it was not to be. As the birth of the royal child was announced, he was named as Tutankhamun, the boy who would one day wear the double crown. Ai saw the danger. Whispers would spread. The people would turn against the House of the Aten, and the old priest of Amun would seize their moment. So he came to me in the shadows of my chapel, and spoke with honeyed words. You will be raised up, Kiya. The court will be told the child is yours by the king himself. Akhenaten's name will stand as father. Your name will shield the truth. In return, you shall wear the titles of a greater wife, and your place will be secured. I had no choice. The gold he promised was cold comfort, but I accepted, for the sake of the disk and the fragile peace of Akhetaten. My image was recarved on monuments. My name was spoken in the palace as Mother of the Air. It was a lie that bought time, yet it poisoned everything it touched. That false honor brought only darkness. The royal family drew inward like a flower closing at night. Akhenaten turned more to his hymns and his visions. Nefertiti clung fiercely to her daughters, and the court became a place of whispers and averted eyes. The citizens of Amarna sensed the chill. The open temples fell silent. The festivities became less joyful. A sense of unease began where joy once flourished. A's influence grew stronger. Smenkara's brief appearance as co-king faded into obscurity. Hidden truths lingered beneath the surface, and the Aten's light seemed to dim despite our louder praises. My own end came not in glory, but in violence and shadow. I was heavy with another child. Again, not by the king's choosing, when an official of the court, one of A's lesser creatures, forced his attentions upon me in the gardens near my chapel. The child came too soon, born in pain while I cried out for the Aten's mercy. The birth took me. I felt my spirit slip free as the midwives wept. My body left behind in the unfinished tomb. They had begun to prepare for a greater wife. I never achieved the full status of royal wife. Nefertiti's will and the power of her bloodline saw to that. My name was already fading from the stones before my death, recarved once more for one of the royal daughters. The lie I crafted outlived me only a little while. From here, where the disk never sets, I see it all without bitterness. I was a vessel chosen by others, a shadow cast so that the light of the throne might continue. The Aten's rays embraced me still. Small though I was, I walk now in the same radiance that lifted Akhenaten and Nefertiti, and I know that even a lesser wife, even a life built on deception and ended in darkness, is held within the disk's eternal mercy. The truth is risen at last, as it always does, when the sun breaks the horizon, and in that light, my name, Kiya, the beloved, shines quiet and true once more.